Hello and welcome to Zenith Workouts. I'm Rebecca Libby. Today we're filming a series where we are in this particular class in the series. We're working on the mobility of our mid-back and definitely the strength of our abdominals. You're not doing this class in an acute flare of low back pain, but the whole series is designed to help you manage, reduce, overcome those periods of acute low back pain, maybe spaced out with intervals where you feel okay, or the low back might still feel a little bit vulnerable. If you're stiff in your mid back, then you'll take up movement somewhere else. You'll still turn to do your shoulder check, only you might pull it all the way down into your low back, that rotation, or you might, maybe you have neck pain because of it. So yeah, this whole series is done on the mini ball. You will need some sort of soft ball to put underneath the your mid back for this one. And you're going to come down on your mat to place that mini ball between your shoulder blades or just below. I like it just below my shoulder blades, depending on your proportions and the size of your ball. You want to be in a position where you can keep your neutral pelvis. And our neutral pelvis is pubic bone, hip pointers, sort of low ribs. They're all in a nice line. Like that would be too much curve in the low back, and that's too flat. So you're finding, a comfortable position too of the pelvis. You're noticing where is the pressure point of the pelvis on the mat. Immediately, you're going to want to support your head so that your neck doesn't overstrain. So just interlace the fingers behind your head, or if your shoulders are really tight and you can't do this, you can just support the head with the fingertips behind the ears, but you really want to give your head that support, right? The arms are pressing forward a little bit, the head is pressing back so that that neck is in a nice, easy position. You're already maybe using the abdominals a little bit. And if the feet are wide, then this is easier. If the feet are narrow, there's less base of support, right? So you're going to be a little more wobbly. And you begin by breathing in, excuse me, breathing in and melting your upper back over the ball. Oh, that feels so good. But not shifting where the pelvis is connecting to the floor or the mat. And then as you come up, you're lifting your pelvic floor muscles, you're drawing in with your deep belly, just to support your spine, your low back, as you curl up, curl up, curl up. This is a sit-up. It's like you're going to come off the ball and at the last minute you decide not to. And okay. And the whole time, your pelvis is not shifting. This is just mobility of that mid back as it melts over the ball. The arms support the neck. The head may touch the mat, but it doesn't have to. If you're stiff into this, what we call extension, this position, the head might not touch the mat. And as you come up, just watch that you don't shear the whole head forward, that you really keep a little chin tuck and you keep the head supported with the arms and the abdominals stay nice and flat as you curl up. If you're feeling like, the abdominals bulge, you're losing that deep core, that form, right? So this is just at your own pace. Beautiful curved sit-ups, right? Good, awesome. And then we're going to hold this one up. We're going to combine it with some leg movement. So you're curled up as much as you can control, which just means the abs are flat, the pelvis is steady. And we're going to do a right leg up to tabletop, lower it down, and switch. Switch. And here's where you have to be a little bit honest and tuned in with yourself. Is that pelvis staying nice and still? Or is it, rocking side to side as you do your leg movement? That's not what you're looking for here. You're looking for control of the low back pelvis as you move the legs while you've already engaged the deep or the big abdominals, right? If single legs is easy, then you could do double legs, sort of switching in motion, not double legs, but leg changes we call them, but just more of a, instead of always having one moment on the mat, there's a point where you really have to use the abdominals because both legs are in the air, right? Good. One more each one. Good. Lower the legs. Peel over the ball with that spine. Just melt there. You can rest here for a second if you want. We're going to do a little bit of spine mobility on this. So we've just worked the arch or this extension position. We've worked what we call flexion, and now we're going to work side to side. So if you want, the feet are wider so that you don't fall off your ball. And we're going to come not all the way up or all the way back. We're going to come right into neutral. So you're sort of looking up at your ceiling, but the head is easy, relaxed in the arms. You're a little bit active in your shoulders and your shoulder blades to keep the head supported with this hammock of your hands. And we're going to bend to your left side. So we're going to bring your left shoulder or your left elbow down towards your left hip. And you're still looking at the ceiling. And then you're going to come back to the center. And then you're going to do the other way. You're going to bend, right? And we're just going to do this motion at first. Yeah. And then we're going to combine it with some rotation. And this is nice work for the oblique muscles of the abdominals, if you've heard of those. So this time as we go to the left, so we side bend to our left, we bring our left shoulder down towards our left hip, but then we're going to lift up, the pelvis isn't moving, and you're going to bring your left elbow towards your right knee, right? Here's where the pelvis almost always wants to shift. You're not going to let it because you have that control. You're going to move back into your side bending and come through the center. So it's a nice side bend to your right now, and then a lift up to look over to your left. Peel down, come through the center. You can do it a little faster and sort of as a smooth motion as you get used to it. But the motion is side bend. So you bring your right shoulder down towards your right hip and then curl up the other way to look to the left. Return to your side bend, come through the center. And this should feel pretty good for the spine, right? And you shouldn't feel discomfort in the low back, right? The low back is not moving here. And if it's well supported by the deep abdominals, if the abdominals are staying flat because you're drawing in with the low belly, or you're thinking of the no-P muscles, the pelvic floor, then there shouldn't be any discomfort in the low back here. Good. We're going to do a little repeater here. So come to the center and just, you can give yourself that little rest if you need to. Abdominal work, yes. And then we're going to curl up. So keep the pelvis nice and still. Feel where your pressure point is, back of the pelvis on the mat. You're going to curl up, 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 up a little more as if you're going to come right off the ball, but you decide not to at the end. And you're going to turn to your right, right? So you've turned to your right, but the pelvis didn't follow. Pelvis is nice and still. And here you're just going to lay back over the ball and you're going to come back up. So it's like your left elbow is in your center line and you're leaning back and then you're coming up. Leaning back and coming up. And you don't need to make this a bigger movement than what you can control. Meaning the pelvis stays nice and still, that pressure point at the back of your pelvis doesn't shift. Right? Yeah, good. Center it, rotate the other way, and there's no discomfort in the low back. I like this one because I feel it as I lean over the ball. I almost feel it like a beautiful, I don't know, like length of my deep rib cage. Like there's some really nice fascia mobility going on there. Hopefully you enjoy the movement too. Keep the head and neck well supported. Good. Good. Center it. Relax it down. Take another moment. If you're just starting this video and you're just saying like that's enough, or the abs are starting to bulge when you're doing the series, like you can call it quits here. Or if you're building up or you're used to working, the abdominals, then we're going to come up to a position where, it's like you're going to come off the ball, right? But you decide not to. You're going to bring the right leg up to tabletop. And then the left. But again, there's no movement of the pelvis. You haven't flattened the spine. You haven't let the abdominals bulge, right? They're nicely drawn in. You have that control. And you're going to straighten out one leg and switch. Pelvis doesn't move, right? So now you're really working, you're working deep core while you strengthen the large abdominals on top. See the muscle definition. And if you can, now you're going to look towards the knee that's bent, but there's no movement of your pelvis. The ball will move a little bit, right? Good workout. And you're staying curled up in that upper body, but you're staying flat in the abdominals. Yeah, let's do one more to each side. Beautiful. Bend the knees, lower them down one at a time. Here, I love to stretch out the legs nice and long, and I like to lay over the ball. So if that feels good to you, with the arms either straight out in a T position or overhead in a large V, or beside you in like a cactus position with the elbows bent, whatever lets you feel a really good opening in your chest and front body, a length in the abdominals that you just worked. If it doesn't feel good, then get the ball out from under there and just lay flat and appreciate the wisdom of laying flat on your back. Oh. That was my ankle and my toes. And there you go. Hope that was a good, variation for the abdominal work and a good challenge to keep the pelvis still. The key with this whole series is that stillness in the low back and pelvis, and that like sort of constant engagement of the very low abdominals, pelvic floor, gently stopping your pee, so that your upper body can get all that mobility, the abs can get all that strength, but below it you're always maintaining your deeper activation to control and support the spine. So, all right, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.